Today we want to look at questions like how should a man treat his wife and other questions. Precious one, this is time with Bishop Charles. I'm Bishop Charles Agyinasare. This is where I take your questions that you've sent me through Twitter, Facebook, email, SMS, and what have you, and I try to bring you answers to those questions. Today we will look at some interesting questions. One of them is, how does a man treat the wife? And other questions is, how do you relate to your children? And how do your children relate to you? And many other questions like that. Don't turn off your dial. We'll be right back.
Bishop Charles Agyinasare's books are a must-read for every Christian everywhere. Easy to understand yet deeply edifying and thought-provoking, his books touch on important issues facing the modern Christian today, such as evangelism, money, prayer, marriage, addiction, sex, and etiquette. Find the answers. Visit azaliabooks.com as well as Perez Chapel Bookshop, Jawolo Junction, Accra, and other leading bookshops.
Welcome back. We want to take the first question from Rahina. We have so many questions. You know, I'm in my 30th year of marriage, and many people have sent in questions. By the grace of God, you know, my kids are grown up now. I'm a grandfather, and I've had quite some questions coming in trying to find out how I've made it these 30 years in marriage. And one of them is from Rahina, Cameroon. And Rahina says, how should a man treat his wife?
I believe a man should treat his wife with love and respect, not just because of her, because of their kids too, because, you know, the kids grow up and they're watching. And whichever way it affects the way they also treat their own spouse in the end. And
look at the things that she likes. You know, everybody has his weak point. Look at the soft type of the woman, her soft side. Make sure you hit on that. If she's the type that she likes joke, and you are the man who doesn't like cracking jokes, they have to know how to handle her.
Love your wife as the way you love yourself. I hope you love her before you go for her, right?
She's your rightful partner in life, and God respects marriage itself. So if you say how should a man treat the wife, I think more like a queen.
Treat her like your mother.
One should treat his wife with love, caring. That's why in the Bible, God created Eve for Adam as a support. So women are very important.
Rahina, the first way a man is to treat his wife, the Bible says, is to love her. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. The Bible says, husbands, love your wives. It's very important. Now, if you love your wife, the Bible continues to say that you will cherish her. If you cherish and nourish your wife. To cherish your wife means a few things. If you love your wife, then you will treat her well. If you cherish your wife, then you won't beat her. Now, a man who abuses the wife physically doesn't love her or doesn't cherish her. There are men who don't abuse their spouses physically, but they abuse them emotionally. Some abuse them by manipulating them. Hey, I will divorce you. Hey, you can't treat your wife like that. There are men who harass their wives. They can talk to everybody. Their wife cannot talk to anybody. They can smile to everybody, but their wife cannot smile to anybody. There are husbands who think that they own their wives. If you're going to be a successful husband, you don't own your wife. Your wife is an independent entity. You know, the sad part of it is that there are some husbands who even think that they want to change their wives. Now, you don't marry a woman to change her. You marry a woman for her to complement you. You can contribute in making her develop herself, but you don't marry a woman to change her. In fact, the more you are married to somebody, the more comfortable you should be. Now, when I travel with mommy, and I even at church, I keep telling church that I love mommy. After 30 years, I love her even better. And at times some ask me, how? But familiarity breeds contempt. Well, in marriage, there is what we call comfortable familiarity. Comfortable familiarity is when you get to know a person, and the more you get to know the person, the more you appreciate the person, and the more you feel you need that person in your life. If you are married, that is how it should be. But if it's going to be like that, then you have got to cherish and nourish. If you cherish something, that means you celebrate it. Now, if you're a husband, you don't have to tolerate your wife. You see, if you tolerate somebody, they feel somehow. They feel that you don't really care. But if you celebrate them, now, even for preaching, when I go to a church that doesn't celebrate me, that doesn't appreciate me, I don't want to go there again. Because in life, you want to be celebrated. You don't want to be tolerated. Your wife should not be a burden. Your wife should be somebody you appreciate, somebody you give time and attention to. I was talking about if you love your wife or you cherish her, you will respect her. You won't ridicule your wife or disgrace your wife before people. There are men who don't care whoever has come to the house, and they will disgrace their wife. Your wife can make a mistake, because we all make mistakes. Your wife can make a mistake before people. When she makes the mistake before people, overlook it. When the people are gone, deal with the mistake, because you don't want to disgrace your wife. It's very important. Now, you know, in my book, Good Manners and Etiquette, I talk about the fact that you have to learn to always make the other person save face. If you are going to be a person that people like to be around, you want to make the other person save face. You don't want your wife, when immediately people come, she will run away and go and hide, because she knows that he's going to do his thing again. He's going to put me down. He's going to make me feel like I haven't started. There are some people, when you get around them, you feel dehumanized. When you get around them, by the time you leave their presence, you want to go and fast and pray, because you feel so discouraged, you feel so put down, you don't feel lifted up. But as a husband, you should be able to lift up the head of your wife. There are times my wife fixes her hair in a way I don't like. If she does it in the way I don't, most of the time she does it the way I like. She'll put it here, and when I see it, it makes me go gaga. But there are times she will do some huhushous one. But even with the huhushous one, I don't make her feel that bad. She can tell that today the appreciation is good, but there are some question marks around it. And she knows that, hey, Charles is trying to say that this one is not the best. Your wife should not come out dressed and then you look at how you are looking. I'm not bad. No, that's your wife. You want to encourage her. You want to lift her up. If you love your wife, the scripture says you will nourish her. To nourish is like planting a flower. If you plant a flower, and I have a few flowers in my house, and my wife likes flowers, she likes greenery, so she keeps taking care of them. Now, if you nourish a flower, that means that regularly you go around it, you dig around it, and then you water it, you make sure it's healthy, you prune it, you make sure it's healthy so that it looks as good as you want it to look. That's how your wife should be like. You would nurture her, you would nourish her, you would appreciate her, you would encourage her. You go to town unexpectedly, you pass a card shop, you get a card that simply says, maybe all the words in the card is, I love you and I can't live without you. And you go home, you surprise her. You go out, you are coming home, you see something nice, you buy it. It's not an occasion, but you just want to show that you love. Love gives. Love gives. You can't forget your wife's birthday. You can't forget. And on your wife's birthday, before she wakes up in the morning, you have a card on her pillow, and the card is saying something. If you even bought the card, you can write some other romantic things that are from your heart. You are the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Hey, without you, where would I have been? You are a man. You know when you were running her, you know what you said. Now you are married to her, you stop running her. It reminds me of the story of this man and the wife. They went to see their pastor after being married for 32 years. And the woman wanted to go out of the relationship. The woman said, Pastor, my husband doesn't love me. So the pastor said, is it true? He said, how can she say I don't love her? The woman said, since we married, he doesn't tell me he loves me. And the man said, but on our wedding day, when I told you I love you, have I changed my mind? You said I love you on your wedding day. Keep saying it. One thing women can't get fed up from hearing is I love you. Keep saying to your wife over and over, I love you. In fact, the more you say you love your wife, the more she wants you to say it. But you see, for some men, when you say I love you to your wife knows that it's because you want something from her. You want a performance or something. And so it shouldn't be on the day you want performance that you are saying I love you. I love you should be something you say regularly. Not only do you say I love you, that you need to also kiss your wife. If you're going to show you love her, you need to kiss her. How do you kiss your wife when you haven't brushed your teeth and your mouth scent, ajibebia? No. So it means that you are going to keep your mouth, brush your teeth at least twice a day, and your mouth is smelling good, and throughout the day you are chewing some gum or some hacks or some something, so that if you live where we live in our weather, means that as a man you are going to bath twice a day so that you don't smell and put off your wife. There are some men, only that the women cannot say it, but the truth is your armpit, when you come close, so you want to look good for your wife, you want to smell good, and all in a bit to show her that you cherish her and you love her and you appreciate her. Look, if you do that to your wife, the way she would see you and appreciate you, you will be amazed. Look, don't turn off your dial. We'll be right back. And when we come back, I'm going to get you into how to treat her the best.
Bishop Charles Agyinasare's books are a must-read for every Christian everywhere. Easy to understand yet deeply edifying and thought-provoking, his books touch on important issues facing the modern Christian today, such as evangelism, money, prayer, marriage, addiction, sex, and etiquette. Find the answers. Visit azaliabooks.com as well as Perez Chapel Bookshop, Jawolo Junction, Accra, and other leading bookshops.
Welcome back. We have this question. Says, it's just like Rahina's question in the first one. So, how do I treat my wife?
You should make sure you provide her her necessary needs.
I wouldn't do anything to please her. Why? But I know very well that I can't continue with it. I wouldn't do. But what I think I can continue, though it's nice when your wife is working, you help her to do it. Help in the chores, everything is good, it's nice. When you look at it, it's very, very nice.
You treat me so precious. Let me feel like I'm a queen. Let me feel among all the women, I'm the only one. Yeah, I'm the only one among all women.
And it's different people with how they treat their wife. But actually, I can't tell you how you treat your wife.
You, how should you treat your wife? With treat her with love, respect, and kindness. And although sometimes she may make mistakes, and well, you too, you make mistakes, so you should consider that. Don't always criticize her. They say someone said that people they respond more to praise than to criticism. So sometimes you should praise her, Oh, I love your cooking. Oh, I like the way you look today. Trust me, it goes a long way.
Treat your wife as your sister and keep secret. Everybody is not perfect, but once you keep secret, then you move on in life.
If you don't respect your wife, how can you treat her good, you see? So if you respect your wife and you love her, I think if you respect yourself, you treat her like your own self.
If you respect your wife, others will respect your wife. If you don't respect your wife, how can others respect your wife?
I told you that you can get some of the things I'm sharing with you, you can get it from my book, Till Death Do Us Part, Handling Marriage, Divorce, and Remarriage, etc. And then also Celebrating Marriage, How to Be Friends and Passionate Lovers. You want to be friends and passionate lovers. You want to take advantage of these books. But how do you treat your wife? You treat your wife like a queen. If you treat your wife like a queen, she will treat you like a king. If you treat your wife like a broom, she will treat you like a doormat. And so you want to treat your wife very well. In fact, scripture says, husbands, love your wives. Wives, submit to your husbands. I think that there's a challenge there. It's because a lot of men find it hard to love their wives. So God said, husbands, love your wife. And a lot of women find it difficult to submit. So God says, wives, submit to your husbands. Now, if you treat your wife like a queen, you will be faithful to her. If you are faithful to your wife, you won't have a farm and have a backyard garden. Some men call their marriage a farm, and so they have a farm, and then they have a backyard garden. That means they have a mistress, and apart from the mistress, they have some other chicken soup in town. That is not treating your wife like a queen. Because most of the time, if you are married to a woman and she hears that you have had an affair with another woman, the first question, I've sat in so many of them, by the grace of God, I've been married for 30 years. In the 30 years, my wife Vivian is the only woman I've kissed, smooched, and done my good works on. Now, but I've sat in many counseling sessions where women have come with their husbands and the men have been involved in an affair. And the first question the woman asks is, Pastor, ask my husband, what does the other woman have that I don't have? You see, and that statement is a statement that breaks the confidence of a woman. I mean, she begins to look down on herself. She begins to see herself as something is missing and something is wrong. You don't want to do that to your wife. You don't want your wife to start feeling not capable, to start feeling that she's not competent. And you see, for a man, it's wrong for a man to be married to a woman when she had her bobby stand and now she has her bobby sleep, because by all means, when she starts having children, her breasts will fall. That's what I call bobby sleep. In fact, some people go as far as saying it has become chalewate, whatever. It fell. Now, when you married her, she had bobby stand. Now that you are old together, you want to leave her. And you want to leave her for who? Who do you want to come and take the one you don't like? It's not good enough. You are not treating her fairly. You have children with her. Some say that now she's a trailer. A trailer means a trailer always carries a lot of. She has children, so she has That's not, you don't want to do that. In fact, the scripture says in the book of Malachi, let the man not deal treacherously with the wife of his youth. You don't want to deal treacherously with the wife of your youth. A man marries a woman, they struggle. There are times that some men say that, but well, when I was working, she was not working. Child, taking care of the home, taking care of the children, is a job in itself. It's a job in itself. And so your wife may be a housewife, but if she hadn't been the housewife, how would you have taken care of your children? And because she's the housewife, by the time you come home, your food is fixed. And for you men out there, there are a lot of you, when you are even looking for your socks, you can't find it. You are looking for your panties, you can't find it. Your wife, the thing may be just in front of you, but your wife has to come and show you. Now you say, how do you know? It happens to me, I know. A lot of the times I'm looking for something and it's close to me and I can't even see it. But the women know where everything of yours is. Your wife knows what you eat. She knows what is good for you. She takes care of you. That is a job in itself. You know how difficult it is for some of us men. We are very difficult. They cook light soup. We say, in the morning we wanted to eat light soup. They cook light soup. And then we say, it's not the light soup I feel like taking. There's a little salt. Today there's too much salt. There's not salt. Today there's not salt in the soup. With all kinds of, and your wife puts up with it for so many years. And when you are grown and when you are old, now you decide to divorce your wife. You decide to leave her. That is treachery. That is wickedness. You are trying to cause pain. And listen, I have seen, in fact, in one of my books, Breaking the Power of Alcohol, Drugs, and Tobacco, was forwarded by a psychiatric hospital, Dr. Alote. And Dr. Alote said, many of the women in the psychiatric hospital, the great majority of them, they are there because they had a broken heart or were mistreated in their marriage, or somebody promised them and disappointed them. You don't want to treat your wife like that. If she is your queen, you don't want to treat her like that. There are times men think that they have the right to treat women anyhow. But don't forget that there's an Akan proverb that says that, or an African proverb that says that even the animal without a tail, God himself takes care of the house flies for it. You know, when the animal has a tail, it will use the tail to be taking care of the house flies. But even the animal without the tail, God himself takes care of the house flies. I like it in the tree. I say, Abua oni duano, na nenyame ne prano ho. Unyame prano ho. So you think that you are taking advantage of your wife. You think that you are maltreating her. You are leaving her like that. God hears the prayer of the weak. And God hears the prayer of those who are hurting. And God will not let you go scot-free if you are a man like that. Make sure you take care of the children also. And you compensate your wife for the toil she's gone through with you, and you enjoy the relationship together. You see, if you treat your wife like a queen, you will learn to forgive her. The Bible says that we should forgive our neighbors 77 times 7 or 70 times 7, 490 times. That is even your neighbor. How much more the woman you love, the mother of your children. Or if you even don't have children, you still want to love this woman. She offends you, you forgive. There are some men, when their wives offend them, they will remind them of what they did. You remember 5 years ago, you did the same thing, and 3 years ago, you did the same thing. If you forgive, it means that you've put it in God's sea of forgetfulness, never to remember it again. There are some women, their minds are also like a computer. Every mistake is recorded in there, and when there is a problem, they will give you a recall of everything and give you all that happened. When we were going to get married, I said to my wife, I said, honey, I've seen so many women do that. Something happens and they will tell you all that happened from as it was in the beginning is now ever shall be. I said, if something happens, we deal with it and we bury it. Next time, when something else happens, we don't go to dig the old thing. It's dead and gone, it's buried. You've given me a new slate. I also give you a new slate. So we don't dig up the old things. If you are going to treat your wife like a queen, that is how you must treat her. You must spend quality. If you are treating your wife like a queen, you must spend quality time with her. You know, when we got married, I decided that I want to be spending quality time with my wife. I decided that when I'm on leave and I take my leave, I guard it jealously, because you work and I work hard. I invest a lot of time and energy in my work. When I'm on leave, we'll go to the next town and go and be on leave, so that we will be away from activity, etc. With time, we'll go to another city, and then gradually, with time, we could travel to Togo, we could travel to Nigeria, and then gradually, as God kept prospering us, we could go to Europe and we could go to other places. By the grace of God, now I'm able to take her wherever she wishes she could have gone. I take her there, because gradually I spent the time building ourselves up so that we could do that. If you love your wife, you want to spend quality time with her. A lot of times in the days we live in, we go to work, we come back, and throughout the week, we don't even have time when we share ideas and when we talk. There are times all you need to do with your wife is just talk. It's a healing balm for the relationship. Precious one, this is all our time will allow us to do today. But beloved, I'll come your way same time next week, God willing. And I hope that your relationship is getting better. I want to pray with you. Pray this prayer. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, I pray for these dear ones. I ask that you touch them. I pray that you bless their relationships. I pray that, Lord God, their marriages will be better. And I pray that you help them run through their troop and leap over their walls in their relationship. Put them together. Bind them together. Glue them together. And make them an example to those who know them. Thank you, mighty God, for answered prayer in Jesus' name. Beloved, keep sending in your questions through Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, SMS, email. Keep sending in your questions. And by the grace of God, I'll be there to answer them. God bless you. See you same time next week. God bless you.